Nope.
No, that's awesome. So
Yeah.
how did you establish that? That's kind of crazy, honestly.
Yeah. So it's actually like the way I established it. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I've been big into fitness like
Yeah,
since junior year of high school.
yeah,
You're working out with like Tyler. But I started like the Instagram back in high school, obviously, and
yeah.
just posting random shit. I was posting like workout videos and stuff like that. So I've always been into it, and then got into personal training. And the clientele I was working with at the rec was just like the older population. It wasn't like super fun. It wasn't super exciting, but the
Hmm.
online, I started getting intrigued because back in high school, even like fitness influencers were like a big thing. Everybody
Yeah.
followed them. So that was like my first interest. I was like, wow, that would be cool to like make money off of just posting random shit on Instagram.
Hmm.
Little did I know that's actually not how it works. But
Yeah, yeah. That's tough.
yeah. So got into that. Started doing a little bit of research on how to actually get clients online. Didn't realize how hard it actually was if you don't have like an established audience. Because most of those guys that when we were younger, like 5 years ago, most of those guys that had a huge following got it because they got on Instagram when it started
Yeah.
and they started posting that fitness stuff and they had hundreds of thousands of followers. But I started learning a little bit about that and then realized that was kind of what I wanted to do because I wanted to have more freedom, like to be a personal trainer in person. I mean, it takes so much time. You're just trading time for money every single day. I mean, you could have
Yeah.
a full schedule. You could be in the gym from like 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. working with clients all freaking day and just making like a decent living. But it's like you're in the gym all day. And I realized as much as I love working out, that's just not what I want to do.
Hmm.
Uh, and I also want to be able to work with like a specific clientele and work with do things that I actually enjoy because fitness is part of what I enjoy. But at the same time, I enjoy, learning about mindset, personal growth, and all that good stuff.
Hmm.
So finally, I guess in 20 what was last year 2019, so in 2018 I started learning more about that, finally invested in like a mentor in the space that helps people become online coaches like full time. So that was like eye-opening to learn about business because before then, dude, I didn't know anything about business at all or
Hmm.
anything about like sales, anything about content creation or anything like that. So that was good. um, didn't really get anything from it because I was full-time in school working all the time. So that's why in last year I decided just to take a year off of school and kind of work on myself a little bit. So last year was really pretty awesome. And then, so that was kind of how I got into it, just like gradually learning more about it, gradually opening my eyes to what's actually possible out there. And then finally investing money into it because once you invest money in something, you're just kind of automatically like attached to it.
Yeah. Totally agree with
So,
that.
yeah.
Are after you graduate, are you just gonna stick with this full time, or is it gonna be more part time, or?
Yeah, I'm going to do this full time. It's just like kind of gradually turning it into where I want it to go.
Here, hold up.
But as I evolve, can you hear me? Because I know I
Yeah,
was like
I just
going
got
in and out
lagged.
there. Okay. So it's kind of I want to mold my coaching and my business into where I want to go myself. If that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
right now, like I said, I'm seen as like a fitness coach, like somebody that helps people with their bodies and stuff. But that's not my biggest passion. Like I've started to get more into like performance, right? When it comes to like cognitive performance and helping people become more efficient with their work. So that's kind of where I'm turning that into. So I do see myself doing this full time. I don't really see myself going back to being an in-person trainer and stuff like that because at the end of the day, like I'm interested in that stuff, but I wouldn't say that's like my full-time passion. If that makes sense.
Okay. What's kind of your best way to get clients? What have you been like trying to do? Ooh. Hmm.
Yeah. Did you? That was like a huge lag there, so I have no idea.
I just hooked up to my Ethernet cable, so it
Oh,
should be good
okay.
now. But What's kind of been your best way to get like clients?
Facebook. So
Facebook.
yeah, I find it really easy to build connections on Facebook. People are just way more responsive, and um, that's just kind of what I built my business off of. Because before I was all on Instagram, and
Hmm.
when I joined, like when I got a mentor, they encourage like Facebook just because like there's groups, it's easier to find a certain like person, like there's Facebook groups. So if like for example, if you're looking for a business owner, you can join a business like an entrepreneurship Facebook group that has 78,000 people in it, right? It's just easy to find certain people on Facebook compared to Instagram. It's like Instagram, you're just like searching through whatever.
Yeah.
So it's Facebook. I started posting on there uh, when I started the business, but I think had I stayed on Instagram, I probably would have been fine doing that as well. It's just I started Facebook, committed to doing Facebook. I mean, right now I'm posting 3 times a day on Facebook. Whereas
Nice.
Instagram, it's like the thing I don't like about Instagram is that you have to do a photo. You have to put
Yeah.
up a picture, and it's like for me, that's so challenging for me to do. I don't have. I've just never been that type of person that's able to like pump out photos every single day. Where some people are like really good at that. They're able
Yeah.
to have photos every single day that look good, that are professional, that are attractive. And that's just like not who I am. So I felt like Facebook was actually a good way to go because one, it's easy to connect with people, and two, it's easy to pump out content. But both Instagram and Facebook, I mean, stories are just like super powerful.
Hmm. Um, what type of content have you been focusing on? Like, I know you've been doing lives and just workout routines, so just more of that route, or
Yeah. So since for me, I'm like providing a service, it's not like a product. So for me, since it's a service, people have to connect with who I am. They have to feel like they can trust me as a person because I mean, all my clients, like I don't know them personally. It's all through social media, right? So you have to build a connection with those individuals. So people that are providing a service, you want to build that connection with people. So right now, I try to focus my content to be like 50% me connecting with my audience, like people realizing, like, wow, this is like a real life human being, and
yeah,
they don't
yeah.
care just about sales. So half of it is connection posts. Like for example, like 2 days ago, I posted a picture with Delaney, like my girlfriend, just to see people like, oh, he has a life, he has a girlfriend. Connecting with people, asking questions on Facebook, and then the other half is just providing value. So maybe that's talking about like optimizing sleep. That's something that I've been focusing on a lot lately. You know, macros,
Hmm.
calories, working out, providing value. And then part of that also is being an authority, having people see me as an authority. So talking to limiting beliefs they may have, uh, false beliefs that they have, the goals that they have. So it's 50-50 trying to connect with the audience, but also providing value and having people see you as an authority. Because if you're providing a service and people just see you as like a friend, not as an authority, it's going to be hard to, they're just going to expect you to give them stuff. If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
What's kind of been your biggest problem in like entering the fitness space? Because I know it's extremely competitive, but
Yeah, is finding a specific person that I want to work with, like targeting a specific niche. Because if you come in and just offer weight loss, I mean, you're not separating yourself at all. Everybody can do that. So that's been the biggest challenge is not only figuring out who you want to work with, but finding ways to tailor your content towards that specific person to get them to catch, like have them actually see your content and resonate with it. Because if you don't have a clear message, you can have a clear person that you want to work with, a clear niche that you want to target. But if your content doesn't actually target that person, if it doesn't speak to them, if they aren't scrolling and then stopping because your content caught their eyes, and it's going to be hard to actually attract those clients, especially without a following, because most of those people that have hundreds of thousands of followers, they're able to sell like those ebooks and stuff,
hmm.
just weight loss ebooks. Because I mean, as long as 10% of their followers buy it, or even 1% of some of them, they're gonna make a shit ton of money off that. But if you're starting off and you're providing a service, and like the level of service that I provide is hugely based off of accountability and support. It's very personal. So the biggest challenge for me, and I think anybody that's in the fitness space or even a service in general, is knowing who you want to serve, but being able to create content that does speak to that specific person.
Exactly. Yeah. Where do you kind of see your own brand kind of going on from here? Because you don't have a website, right?
Yeah, no, it's all based off of just like Facebook messaging and stuff like that. I mean, eventually when I get to, so I'm still trying to master organic like reach, basically trying to craft my message to actually speak to the audience that I want to serve. Because once you can master organic, I mean, once you start getting into paid traffic and stuff like that, it's just so easy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been my biggest goal lately, is to get clear on who I'm serving, clear with my content, and actually get it to the point where people really resonate with it and want to work with me. And once I can get that, once I can really solidify that, then move into, scaling it to a certain extent. Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Are you gonna try to, like, I don't know, is anyone talking to you about sponsors or anything? Because I really want to buy protein from somebody I know, man. I don't want to buy from Walmart. Like, I want to support somebody like you, you know?
Yeah, I like that. I think it's super important to support other people, especially people that we know. But yeah, right now I don't really look into sponsorships. I mean, to be completely honest, I've been just testing things out myself and seeing which I like, because I don't want to get sponsored by something that I don't actually believe in.
True. What have you been using?
Yeah, so there's been different things I've been using. I mean, lately I've been using Redcon. Those are supplements. I mean, they have like plant-based protein and stuff like that. But there's just been a lot. There's so many supplements out there, dude.
It's ridiculous, man.
It's ridiculous. So trying to find one that actually resonates with what I want to achieve. Like there's this one product out there. It's called Huel, and it's like a plant-based protein, but it also provides a bunch of vitamins, and it's basically it's like a meal replacement, but it provides all the vitamins that you need. So I've been looking into that, and I might start trying that out, see how it tastes, see how I feel after it. Because a big thing for me is also how I feel when I do eat certain foods. Because if you eat something, I don't know if you've ever realized, it could even be healthy. You could eat something that's healthy and then just feel like shit afterwards, just because it doesn't actually fit with your digestive system. You're not able to digest it that well. You might have some like inflammation from it. So that's something that I've been looking into as well. But then there's like a meal delivery service that people use. So I've been like trying to look into those. But yeah, for me, I mean, I don't have a specific brand. I'm like, this is the best I've ever had. Like, try this. I just haven't found it yet, to be completely honest.
Yeah. What's your workout split looking like? Are you doing a lot of cardio, or especially now that gyms are closed, what have you been doing?
Yeah, I've never been a cardio person because in high school it just like ruined me.
Yeah.
But I mean right now my split, it was before this whole pandemic started, I was only working out 5 days a week. And it was push, pull, legs, upper body, lower body, 2 days off. And that was what I was doing. But now that it's like, and I wasn't doing any cardio, and I don't do any cardio still besides taking daily walks. That's about it.
Yeah, those are key, man. I've been on the walking recently just because I used to run a lot. I've been getting back into it because of this, but now I was walking like every day. It's just nice, you know, be around nature and just like you get your steps in and whatever, blood pumping.
Yeah, dude, walks are so crucial, man, especially to be more calm, relaxed, and have more clarity. Is walks are so important. But yeah, when it comes to a cardio standpoint, I just don't really, for me, cardiovascular health is obviously important, and I would admit I should probably do a little more cardio for that specific reason. But when it comes to like right now I'm leaning out a little bit, just getting leaner, especially with the pandemic. It's just easier to get leaner than try to put on a bunch of muscle. So I don't really need cardio right now to do that, just because my nutrition has been pretty on point. I've been consistently getting leaner without having to throw in cardio. So I'm sure eventually I might have to throw in cardio. but I just lift right now, and then I get daily steps. And but yeah, I do. Right now, I've been working out 6 days a week. I've been doing push-pull legs twice a week because it's been killer just like not being able to go out and do stuff. So I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
fuck it, I'm just gonna work out today
Yeah,
because
nothing else to do.
I have nothing else to do. So let me go work out.
Yeah.
And since I haven't been doing as much, I've been recovering pretty quickly. So it's not like being sore has been an issue because you don't do anything anyways. You just
Yeah.
sit around all day and walk around or whatever it may be. But yeah, I've been doing the 6 day split. So eventually I'll probably start throwing in some cardio to get leaner. Till I get lean enough, and I'll probably start putting on muscle again. But right now, it's just lean out a little bit. How about you? What are you doing?
I was going like probably 5 days a week. I was doing basically the same thing you were doing, but shoulders with leg day, and then walking. Now I'm just running. I totally stopped doing push-ups, which is just and like body squats because I've been doing a couple of them, but I've just been running like 2 miles every day. Just trying to lean out, trying to eat less. But I I I can't. I just want to go to a gym so bad because I work from home every day, and like I literally the only time I go basically out of my house is to like go to the grocery store or go to the gym, and like they took it away from me, so I'm like going crazy.
I know. Dude, that's how I was too, though. I mean, I had to go to class, but
Mm-hmm.
other than that, dude, I look forward to going to the gym every day, not because to go work out, just because I got to go outside and actually go
Yeah.
do something and drive because I kind of
Mm-hmm.
like driving. So,
Yeah, same.
but now, I mean, people ask, you see all this shit on Facebook, like, how has your life changed because of the coronavirus? It's like, it hasn't. My life is
Yeah.
pretty much exactly the same. I mean, I have a little more free time, but nothing's really changed other than the fact that I can't freaking go to the gym, which
Yeah.
really sucks. I mean, luckily I have some good amount of weights at home. I know some people are just straight body weight, and I don't know what I would do for that shit.
Yeah. I
I would be
can't.
so stressed out, dude. I need to freaking lift some weights. But didn't you do I don't know, I remember seeing something a while ago. Didn't you get into like did you get into any like martial arts in a sense or
Oh yeah, I was doing well. I wish I could continue to do it, but it's like so expensive, and also you can't do it right now. But yeah, I was doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I got my blue belt. I'm like 200 pounds right now. I was like at one point I was lifting, running, and then going to jiu-jitsu for like 2 hours every day, and I almost had a six pack. It was messed up for me because I was playing football, lineman, so I was like, I don't know. Jiu-jitsu is a great cardio. It's a different type of cardio. It's my favorite type of cardio, but yeah, jiu-jitsu is probably my favorite exercise.
yeah, it's actually crazy because I listen to the Joe Rogan podcast. Do you listen to him at all?
I used to religiously. I mean, he got me into like meditating, like jiu-jitsu, just a lot of other stuff that he does.
Yeah, I was gonna say because that's where I first got into it as well. I didn't get into that stuff, but as far as actually learning a little bit about it, he was the first person that brought it up and brought it to my attention of, wow, that seems interesting. I just haven't gotten into it, but I heard it does like wonders for you, like not only physically but mentally. I heard it requires a ton of like mental strength. Like, can you touch on that?
Yeah, I mean, so you like roll with people, which is like active, wrestling in a sense, and like you gotta be, you have to be. The only thing you're focusing on is the moves and just trying to stay alive, like in a sense, and it just totally frees you up because once you enter that the gym or dojo or whatever, that's not a dojo, but facility, you totally only focus on jujitsu because you have to, and like it totally is it's a different type of stress reliever, and I need to go back to it because it's just like 2 hours of you focusing on practicing the art, and just it's really about yourself because you're you're trying to stay alive, and it just the rest of the day, it's like the only thing you really care about is just focusing on what you could have done better. And because it's just such a big chunk of the day, if you go, 5 days a week, whatever, three, it's just really what you focus on. It really becomes such a big part of your life that it doesn't matter. Like you don't have bad days anymore. Like it's just such a great tool to like release energy. Even though I ran like ridiculous amount of, I used to run a lot a couple years ago. And it's just that's not the same type of stress reliever. I mean, you're just so like running, you're still in your head all the time. But jujitsu, you're totally in the present moment, and which is why I really love it.
Yeah, that sounds crazy, actually. I guess he's never described it like that because he never really talked about how long he does it for. Um, yeah, it's probably because you're in this deep work in a sense for such a long time that you really get to. It sounds like you really get to just focus on something for yourself rather than have your mind all over the place. Because even when you lift weights, it's still you still have thoughts going through your mind. You're not focused on a specific skill. So that's actually I want to get into it, but yeah, like you said, I mean it's expensive. It's a ton of time, and maybe I'll get into it sometime this year just to try it out. But do you have to like when you do it? What does it look like when you get started? What well, I mean, at first I'm sure it's really, really basic, but it's probably still challenging. So what's the time frame of actually if you commit to it, what is the original time frame of doing it, do you think?
So you have to like go to 30 classes or so. It's like a month or so of just instructional classes before you can go against someone. But those classes are about a month, about an hour long. And then you do the active rolling, which could go anywhere from like just however long you want to do it, if there's people out there. But man, once you start actively rolling against people, I mean, you just get your ass handed to you just day after day for like months. And it's just probably the greatest just way to just kill your ego because you suck. And you kind of like, I'm a blue belt. I've been doing it for like 2.5 years probably. I've taken this is the longest break I've had, but I still get my ass handed to me regularly. It's just by smaller guys. You know, it's skill based. It's like it's chess, but it's so it's just the most exhausting chess imaginable because your brain's going and then you're trying to make moves and the better you get, it's just a giant rabbit hole too. But that first initial step, I think what's really hard about it is you see people in these like robes and it's kind of fucked up. So, but you just gotta, it's like you probably want to stick to it to get to the point where you can actively roll. So that's about a month, like maybe 2 months. I know a lot of people just go for a class and try it out, which is pretty fun. You do like flips and stuff, you know, like tumbles and stuff. But I really suggest you do it, man. Somebody like you, especially if you listen to Joe Rogan, you probably love it.
Yeah, I definitely want to try it out. That's just crazy because it's probably such a humbling experience. But at the same time, since it is a skill, if you're like decent, I mean, if you care at all about being good at something, if you're competitive, you probably get obsessed about it. Like you said, you probably think about it all fucking day, especially if you go in there and just get your ass whooped.
Yeah, I mean, the community behind it, it's a great way to just meet, I don't know, dudes too. And those guys just watch jujitsu tutorials on YouTube all the time. I've met so many people because I mainly did it in Athens when I was in school. And I met so many great dudes through the community there. And like, it's just the community there, just people that do jujitsu. Everyone is so nice and kind and they just want to help you out. And they also want to strangle you. So it's just like this double entendre. Like, it's just, I don't know. I really need to get back into it, but it's just so expensive, man. Because a lot of people are getting into it, I think, more heavily. But especially now that I'm in Columbus, it's like, it's more, but I highly suggest you try it at least.
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna try it. I need to pull it out. I wrote down like shit I want to do this year. Pretty sure I wrote that down. I'm gonna have to go look at it again. Cause I mean, I wouldn't say I listened to Joe Rogan religiously, but for a while I was watching like YouTube videos as part of my daily relaxation, just like because Joe Rogan's podcast is just so chill, but you also
Mm-hmm.
learn a shit ton. Some of the people he has on there just really cool to listen to, but also really relaxing as well. So I listened to that. But yeah, he talks so much about it, and I was like, "Fuck, I need to try that out."
Yeah. So I feel like with my training, I'm a really cyclical person. When it comes to working out, like I will lift for however long I want to. It's usually in the winter, and then in the summer, I really want to run or whatever. But jujitsu for me is like I want to do it every day, and I usually like I bring in the other two workouts when I do jujitsu, and it's just another level of athleticism. I remember when I was like really into it, I was going like 6 days a week, and like that was the best I've ever felt in my life. And I was just so active. I need to go back, man. But once you get out of it, it's just so hard to get back into it. But
Yeah, especially especially when you know when you go back in that you're gonna. I mean, it's probably such a hard thing to do. Like, it's not just like an easy thing.
You said you kind of going into the mental side of it recently. What have you been like? Have you been reading? Who have you been listening to, or what have you been reading?
Yeah, I read quite a bit. I read basically every single day.
Good.
So I just read whatever seems appealing to me at the moment. But there's definitely been some good books that I've read that have really kind of molded myself and been really good when it comes to, I don't know, trying to achieve whatever goals that you have. But like one of the best books I think I've read was one of the first personal development books I read. It was called the Success Principles. So that's super huge. That was one of the, I think for anybody that's getting into personal development in any way, whether you have a business or not, I think that's such an important book to read. I think it has all the principles when it comes, which is why it's called the Success Principles, but it has like the foundation that anybody really needs to establish some type of routine in their life, but also establish a decent mindset, because so hard to start implementing certain routines in your life and start changing your mindset to be more optimistic and just becoming more mentally strong. So that book was super powerful for me. I read that probably a year and a half ago. But then
Check it
there's
out.
other books. Like I just read the book. Have you ever heard of the book called Everyday Bias?
No.
I think a lot of big companies provide it to some of their employees, because it's based around the fact that everybody has bias, like at the subconscious level, and that we make decisions every day that we're not even aware of that's actually biased. So that was that was a really interesting book. Like it started off with a bunch of studies. For example, one of the studies was about NBA referees and how they basically they looked at the stats of how many fouls were called on the opposite race. But looking at it, I mean, you would never think that was a realistic thing. So it had studies in there about that. It talked about, especially with the social acceptance of like gay marriage and all that stuff. But it really dives deep into being aware of the biases that you have in your life, because so much of it is just at a subconscious level that you're not even aware that you're making a decision based on a bias. And it even goes deeper, because whenever somebody thinks of bias, they think of like race, gender, all that good stuff. But it actually goes deeper on that. It's just like biases that come from the way that you were raised, right? If your parents, for example, if your parents got mad at you for a certain thing, it'll come up later in your life. And you're making decisions based on that, but that was just because it was in your childhood. It's at a subconscious level. So it's bringing those subconscious thoughts to the surface. I mean, you're never going to get rid of them. We're human. It's always going to be there. But when you start to actually acknowledge those things, I think it's really interesting, because since I read the book, I was like, every single day, there's multiple times throughout the day, I'm just like, holy shit, that makes sense. And it's
Yeah.
just more aware, having more
Huh.
self-awareness.
What's it called? Unbiased?
Everyday bias.
Everyday bias? I'll check that one out. That because I do catch myself being like kind of connected back to something in my past. It's like, huh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, why did I choose this over that? And
Yeah.
it's because, but it's not, we're not actually conscious of it. And that's why everything is done weirdly, because they even interviewed people that hire employees, which is, I think, why some big companies provide it to their employees, especially people in management, if they're going to be somebody hiring or they're in charge of like a certain group within the company, because everybody makes decisions based on something, but we're not aware that we're actually doing it. So they even did surveys on female, trying to think of female managers or whatever it is. And they would do a survey based on how likely you are to hire a certain person. And they did this huge, obviously it was some type of experiment, and I can't really go into the details, but they even found that females are more likely to hire males, but
Really?
but they would not even they wouldn't even realize it until they did the experiment and they came back to that person and said, "Did you realize that you are more likely to hire a male employee even if the female would be a better fit?" And they were like, "No, I had no freaking clue." So it's just like weird shit like that. I was thinking that is so strange because I just resonate with so much of it. And you wonder, especially with the way society has changed over the past decade, uh, with accepting of certain people, especially when it comes to like gay marriage and and racism, all that stuff. We've made changes in society, but at a subconscious level, most of us still have those biases. And it's not a bad thing. We're all going to have biases, but it's the fact that we still make decisions based on those things that we're not even aware of. And we still are judgmental to a certain way, even if we don't think we are.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because, you know, it's just nature, you know, your community, where you're around constantly. If you're in an urban area or a city or rural or whatever, those values are going to be instilled in you, and just like the people you're around in your community. I mean, you're just going to have massive biases. I mean, and then just kind of, I don't know, if father figures, parental figures, who you look up to. Yeah, I mean, everyone's just so individually biased. But so I'm gonna look into that one. That sounds like a good read.
Yeah, I think it's something that, because a lot of books out there are so specific to, you have to have certain beliefs to actually read the book. I mean, if you just take somebody that, you're not going to give somebody a certain book and just they're going to read it. They have to actually resonate with it. But I think that specific book, I think, would be applicable to every single person that picks it up, because it's just, it makes you wonder where in your life you're making decisions and why you're making those decisions without even realizing why you're making them. It's like so weird. So you start to actually acknowledge them.
Okay, here's a question. What in your past made you kind of, I don't know, become such an that entrepreneurial mindset? What do you think that was from your past?
That's actually something that I've been thinking about, because personally, I still don't see myself as an entrepreneur. I just see myself as somebody that's trying to achieve certain goals. So that's something that I feel like is so deep, because I've never seen myself as an entrepreneur. Like, I know entrepreneurs that are just their whole life, they've wanted to be an entrepreneur. They've been selling shit since they were 8 years old. I've never been that way. So I think really, I think the thing that got me to this is just the desire to grow. And for me, working jobs and hearing about certain jobs, it was hard to see myself in a job because I felt like there's like a ceiling to a certain extent, and you don't have all the freedom that you really want, and you don't get to do things your way to a certain extent. And I've always wanted that freedom for myself. So I don't think that I chose entrepreneurship because I want to have my own business. I think I chose it because I get to create my life the way I want it to. But I think it all stemmed from, so I was somebody that I felt worked really hard growing up, and specifically in sports. Like outside of sports, I didn't work hard in school. I was naturally somewhat smart. But I think that's what molded me into growing. Because when it comes to entrepreneurship, I feel like all it is personal growth.
Yeah, pretty
I
much.
think if anybody in entrepreneurship, they realize in order to grow their business, they have to grow themselves, right? So I think it all started with that. It was just wanting to become better. And I think it all started with sports growing up, because I mean, you know me, I'm tiny as fuck. Like, I was so small. So I played sports, like especially hockey. Like, I had to work my ass
Oh
off.
yeah, you did.
Like, playing hockey and being so small is not an easy thing to do. It's like, so I had to work hard. And I think that's where it stemmed.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I mean, I was a center, so. But yeah. Do you think it's a lot of like kind of centralized about through passion? I mean, I feel like would you be doing this if lifting and like working out wasn't your passion?
Yeah, it's always been my passion because once I realized I wasn't gonna go pro in sports, which I think we all realized pretty early
Yeah,
on.
pretty
Uh,
early.
but I mean, my parents got me a personal trainer when I was a freshman or so. I think it's the summer going into sophomore year, and I kind of got into it, kind of got passionate about it. So I think I've always had the passion about working out. I mean, even when I was a kid, I used to do like P90X with my mom when I was like 10 years old. I used to do push-ups with my dad. So I've always had that fitness inside of me. And so I think it also stemmed from having the passion to it.
Nice. Kind of wrap this up, but I don't know. You want to leave any words of wisdom, or just I don't know.
Words of wisdom. There you go. I don't know, man. I mean, who typically watches these podcasts, do you think?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. There's people that watch it though.
Yeah.
Your viewership will probably watch it because, I mean, it's a podcast and it's a different type of content. A lot of the people that I've seen watch it is from the guest traffic. So it's a bit, I don't know, words of wisdom to the people that you kind of try to talk to.
Yeah, I mean, words of wisdom is just that. Well, I think your last question was the best one. Was like, was it passion? I think that's it. Like, you have to do things that you're passionate about because if you don't, you're just never gonna be happy. And life is way easier if you do something that you actually enjoy. I mean, you don't even have to be quote unquote successful because that really is what success is doing something that makes you happy. So that's my only words of wisdom really is do something that freaking makes you happy because like achieving success, I even made a post about this yesterday. I think every single person growing up has a vision for themselves, right? They have goals, a life that they want to achieve, and they see it. I mean, if you still have that vision, some people lose it when they go through high school and college. I think the majority of people do
Yeah.
to a certain extent. They just they go through it, kind of mold who they are. They go get a job, and then they kind of lose that inspiration to. But I think deep down, everybody has a vision for themselves, a life that they want to live. So, but for those of, I think everybody that's going to watch this podcast probably still has that inside of them. So it's not a step-by-step process. I think it's just molding that into that person. So think of the vision that you have for yourself. It's not a step-by-step process. So for example, if you want to have this financial freedom and you want to have this family, you want to be able to travel, people think of it as, okay, I need to make money right now. So they do whatever they can to make money right now, but they skip out on the other aspects of that vision. Whereas I think personally the approach that's going to lead to the most happiness right now is if you just start molding yourself into that person every single day, because then you're not chasing a single goal. You're just becoming somebody that you ultimately want to be. And when you become that person, it's going to allow yourself to create that vision and actually turn it into a reality rather than trying to chase one thing and then, okay, now that I have money, let me try to focus on a relationship or whatever that other area of your life is. I just don't think it works that way. I think and ultimately, if you want to live a happy, fulfilled life, it all stems from what we're doing on a daily basis. So we can just start to mold into the person that we want to be on a daily basis. Like, what is Drew doing 10 years from now? It's like, okay, let me try to do that today. Like, that's just how I see it. So I think if I were to give any words of wisdom, I feel like that would really be it.
That's good. That's good shit, man. Where can people find you social media wise?
Yeah, Facebook's going to be the best one if you actually want to get value. Facebook's where it's at because I post on there every single day, provide value every single day. I think I honestly think if people actually followed my content on a daily basis.
I try to. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't really try to look on Facebook as much, but I mean, you got some good shit, man. I like it.
Yeah, well, you do too. But what I'm saying is, if people like find somebody that you actually resonate with, that you feel like could provide value to your life and help you change your life, and fucking follow that shit every single day. Because, dude, people give out so much value for free.
Yeah, you have to.
If you actually follow that shit and you pay attention, you can change your life. Like, as long as you follow it consistently. So that's what I try to do personally. I find somebody that I feel like is going to change my life, and I follow them consistently day in, day out until I feel like I was served and I got the value I needed. I can move on. So, I mean, you don't have to follow me. You don't have to follow my shit, but follow somebody that you feel like is going to change your life. Follow it religiously and implement the shit that they say. Because I'll tell you what, bro, I feel like if somebody actually listened to all my stuff on a daily basis, they wouldn't have any questions for me.
Yeah,
They would know
100%.
exactly what it's like. Just listen to the shit. But yeah, Facebook is where I'm at mainly. Instagram. This summer I'll probably start. I mean, when this pandemic's over and the summer comes, I'll probably start posting on there again because I'll be able to get more photos that I feel like actually resonate with who I am, rather than just posting random shit on there. So that's at Nitschke Fitness on Instagram. But those are really the only two platforms I'm on right now, or at least engage in.
Have you tried to do any YouTube stuff?
No, I've never really gotten into it, and the biggest reason right now, I feel like, is it's just not really right now. It's not going to grow my business.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to getting clients, you're not gonna. For me, I'm not going to get clients off of YouTube,
Yeah, that's right.
especially with the amount of work that it's going to take to grow a YouTube channel to get consistent views. Like it's not an easy task to do, but ultimately, I mean, obviously, getting on all platforms is super important for any business. So eventually, I'm going to be getting on all those, being more consistent on Instagram, getting a YouTube channel and starting posting on there. But the way I see it personally is, I know Gary Vee would disagree with you and me. Me, I don't know your thoughts on this, but he would disagree with me. Is like, you got to master one platform at a time, because if you try to do them all, you're not going to be providing as much that you should be to each of those platforms.
Yeah,
And sorry, Gary Vee, but not everybody has a fucking camera crew following him around every day. And
just
it's just
bumping
like,
out content. Yeah,
yeah, 100 pieces of content a day. Like, come on. Like, especially if you want an audience that actually feels that you provide value to their lives. Because if you're just pumping out a bunch of random shit every day, people are gonna be like, why am I even following this dude? He just pumps out half the shit he posts doesn't even matter to me. So, but that's my opinion. I know everybody thinks in a different way.